This is a production of WKNO Memphis. Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
My guest today on Sports Files is two-time major winner and PGA fan favorite, John Daly. The FedEx St. Jude Classic got underway today at TPC Southwind, once again bringing together some of the world's best professional golfers. Phil Mickelson is here, as is Nashville's Brandt Snedeker and defending champion Dustin Johnson. And of course, one of the most colorful characters in the history of the sport, Long John Daly. If JD's life were to be made into a movie, several sequels would be necessary to tell his entire story. There's no mistaking the former Memphis resident, from his blonde hair to his loudmouth apparel to his cigs. He lives hard and plays hard, although he has mellowed a bit as he closes in on 50. Today I go one-on-one with the entertaining and often outspoken man of the people, John Daly, next on Sports Files. John, it's always great to see you. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Oh, you got it. Thank you.
It's always been a great relationship, Memphis and you. Why does it work so well?
Well, I think living here for 19 years and then, winning both of my major championships out of Memphis kind of helped. But I have played this tournament. I've loved this tournament ever since I came here, before I lived here, and it has a lot to do with it. And I got a lot of friends in Memphis.
You've had your ups and downs in this tournament. Last year was an up. You finished 3 under par. You were tied for 19th. Tough track. What makes TPC Southwind so tough?
Well, I think when we put the greens in, the Champions Bermudian, I think it helped the golf course tremendously, but it made it harder. The green, they'll be firmer. Before when we had bent, the greens were always soft and slow because of the time of the year. Bent greens are very tough in June, July, and August. And we put the Bermuda in. It made the scores a little harder because they're firmer.
Right.
I think they're 10 times better now, but they're just a lot firmer. You can hit some good shots, and then of course you go from square grooves to V grooves. So it's made it even more tougher.
What's your favorite hole? What's your least favorite hole out here?
My least is probably 5.
Okay.
It was my least favorite when it was a par 5. I don't know. It's just something about that hole I struggle. You make 4 on it now, you feel really good. It's a par.
Right.
He plays a par 4, but probably my favorite hole has to be. I just love the 12th hole here. It's kind of a risk reward hole. You think it's only like 396 or something. It's not that far, but it's just one of those risk reward holes. You get some pumping wind, downwind on you. You can take driver out, and I've had 26 yards to the hole before that hole. And dang near driven the green a couple times.
People like to see you do that, so.
That's in my younger years.
Well, I'm looking at this big old wrap around your right elbow, John. What is going on here?
Well, I tore a tendon. We thought it was tendonitis, which it was for about 1.5 years or 2. And I went and got an MRI. I was hitting balls right before I went to the Byron Nelson. And I called my doc. I said, something's not right. The pain's not, it's a different pain. It's like a needle going in me. And he said, well, we'll get an MRI. And Dr. Cox out of Fayetteville, Arkansas, looked at it. He says, it looks to me like it's a torn tendon. Yeah, I got a hold of Dr. Andrews as well, through my agent Bud Martin, who's good friends with him. And of course, Dr. Andrews is one of the best, or the best. And he says, yeah, he said, the only advice, I can give you is play through it until you can't take the pain anymore, and then we'll do the procedure. And I'll have Dr. Cox do it out of Fayetteville. But Nick Price is going through it right now. I think he played for almost 2 years.
Wow. So you can't hurt it worse, but you just got to put up with the pain. Right. And then once the season ends, you'll get surgery.
It's better than having tendonitis. Tendonitis hurts all the time.
Never goes away.
It just never goes away. But this, I've had a couple good days. I have some bad mornings.
Right.
Mornings are the worst. But it's just a different pain than tendonitis.
I got you. You've played a lot of rounds. And last year we spoke on my radio show, and you really put together a tremendous season last season. What's going on this year?
Well, I think just trying to, just trying to get score. I mean, I'm not hitting it bad. I'm just not scoring well. I played 77 events the last 2 years, and
wow.
This year I'm just kind of concentrating on our tour more than anything because the top 200 on the money list, well, 126 to 200 gets you in the 4 Q School thing, and then top 75 on the web.com. So my worst goal is to be in that, at least
worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario, but the goal is to get my card back. It's been a struggle. Last year was one of the best seasons I had probably in a long, long time. If you'd have put the European Tour and the PGA Tour, I'd have made well over $1 million and would have kept my card easily. So I do have my European card, but with this new system, it's tough for me to go to Europe right now.
Sure. Don't get mad when I bring up the fact you're 47, but 50 Champions Tour, will you play it?
Oh yeah, no doubt. That's where all my buddies are.
They are, aren't they?
All my friends, but they're fading from golf a little bit. They're the guy I see that plays phenomenal in his 60s is Tom Watson and Hal Irwin. I mean,
right.
Hats off to them. They're both in their 60s.
Do you see yourself in your 60s playing?
I think I love the game so much that I'll play until I can't play anymore.
Wow.
I think that's what's so cool about the senior tour. Those guys are living legends, and they've done just about everything you can do in the game of golf. And for us to have that kind of tour is not only exciting, but it gives another way of living. Because I mean, at 47, I could still hit it with some of these 21 and 22-year-olds, but the way they chip and putt, especially putting.
It's going to be interesting to watch your followers when you hit the Champions Tour and all these folks in the loudmouth apparel watch. Why is, obviously, when you rip it or grip it and rip it the way you do, John, and hit it so far, it excites the fans like the long ball in baseball, but you have an amazing following. What about that following that you have?
I think it's just people who, I'm a blue collar guy. I'm kind of like Arnold Palmer. I didn't have a lot growing up, and I'm not one that would not help anybody out if they needed it. If I can,
Right.
Not all the time can I sign autographs. Not all the time can I take pictures, but I do the best I can. I do it probably more than most.
Sure do.
And I'm not scared to talk to people.
Who is the least likely player on tour right now to wear that?
Well, I mean, I'd have to say probably a guy like Ricky Fowler.
Because his
he
connection.
has Puma, and his stuff's great. And that's what's cool about me and him is that we have a different variety of stuff that we can wear. It's colorful and it sells. Mine's loudmouth selling, Puma selling, and but his are just solid colors. Mine are wild colors.
They are wild colors. The last time we spoke, again back on my radio show, you were doing a reality series. How was that experience, and are there any more reality shows in your future? There's a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah, there is. I mean, I would like to do somewhat of a reality show, kind of a little bit of golf, but maybe not all golf, just something different, something about maybe a struggling golfer trying to make it, maybe someone who I could come and help and say, hey, this is what you don't need to do. Don't do what I did.
So
type of thing I think would be a cool.
The John Daly Project? Although it's not Hank Haney, you're not just teaching golf, you're teaching life lessons as well?
Well, someone who's trying to get on tour, where,
Interesting.
It would be something that if a young guy, thinks he's cocky, thinks he's really good, and thinks it's okay to go, let's say, go to a bar and stay up until 3 o'clock and think he can play, and thinks he can play the next day. I could, because I did it for so long.
And you can advise people because you've been through it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know that's not the most tasteful way of explaining it.
No, but I understand completely.
I've played a lot of golf, hungover. I'm not going to deny that. I never drank on the golf course in tournaments, but a story, something like that, because it happens. It's not just golf. It happens in real life, somebody trying to put their life back together.
You had probably a lot of successful rounds hungover, but I assume it just caught up with you.
It catches up with you. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't catch up with you in years. It catches up with you in a week or days or something like that. So I don't know. It's just philosophy. It's just kind of a thing that what can I do to maybe help somebody?
It sounds great. Maybe we'll pitch that.
Yeah, and it's because this
Make it happen.
This is the greatest game. There's no doubt.
If they made a motion picture about your life, who would play the role of John Daly?
I don't know. It's really hard to say.
You never thought of that one time?
We have thought about it, and a couple of them have died. Now I've just gone blank.
You're going to go Chris Farley on me?
Chris Farley would have been great.
Right.
In my big wild days,
right.
Maybe
Kevin James now?
Kevin James?
For a
Kevin
big guy.
James would be good.
But it's the slimmer John Daly.
Well, I'm gaining a little bit back, but Kevin James would be great because we've played golf together.
Have you really?
Oh, yeah. So he can get it back there if he needs to.
Who's the neatest non-golfer celebrity type that you've ever played with? They just had a ball. It was fun.
Oh,
it wasn't
so many of them.
Is there one that stands out?
Pesci's my buddy. I mean, Pesci's the funnest to play with because he's
big old stogie and.
Well, he's just like in character all the time. When Joe does a movie, it's not any different than what he does off the set. It's just his personality. It doesn't change, and that's why we're such good friends. That's why he's such a great actor.
You are very. We've spoken before. You know the history of the game. I really appreciate that about you, among other things. Is you know the history of the game. We could tell somebody. We could ask some of these younger golfers. Most of them would know, but there's some. Ben Hogan, who? You appreciate the history of golf. When you think back, who were the 1, 2, 3 golfers that just you would love to have met them if they've already passed, or if not, today, who would you would love to sit down and just rap with about the game?
I think Walter Hagen and I. Walter Hagen and I got to meet Sam Snead before he passed on.
Right.
We did a couple commercials together. He was great.
Did you really?
Yeah. And then Ben Hogan would always, if you've never played golf, Ben Hogan will be mentioned if you start playing golf because everybody knows Ben. But my trio was Watson, Palmer, and Nicklaus.
Mm-hmm.
Watson kind of took the footsteps of Palmer, and then Nicklaus took Palmer's place there, beat him, and then Watson with Nicklaus in a few, and it became the trio that everybody wanted to watch. And I know Gary Player's in that mix as well.
Sure.
But to me, it was Gary. No disrespect to him, but he was a little older. So when I kind of grew up, it was those three. But Walter Hagen.
By the way, you and Hagen together.
Me and Hagen.
In your crazy days?
Yeah, we'd have had some fun. And then the Squire I got to meet as well.
Right.
So.
Who do you appreciate today playing on the tour? Who do you really like out there that's playing today?
Well, I got my hat's off to Boo Weekley right now. I mean, I've seen him struggle. We both have talked about it. We both have struggled. And for him to come back the way he's come back, my hat's off to him. It's given me hope, that, hey, I know Boo's not nowhere near as old as I am, but when you see a guy struggle, you see him come back. That's to me, that's the story. Because it's hard. This game's hard, and you're competing with a lot more younger talent, great talent. That it's just so hard to win out here now.
John, what happens? This might be tough to answer, but we'll watch you, and you're cruising along, and you're playing really well, and you'll hit a hole. And you'll struggle in that hole, and it seems that somehow the problems will compound. Why does that happen once in a while to you?
It happens to all of us. Mine just get talked about a little bit. That's why I always said if there's 14 holes on a golf course, I'd have won 77 majors and probably 250 tournaments.
Without a question.
It's just if those guys, when they invented golf, if they could have just had 14 shots of scotch instead of 18, we'd be all right.
Real quick. Your thoughts on the decision to bar the anchor putter with the Royal and Ancient, with the USGA, still the PGA Tour of America hasn't decided what to do. Your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are we are professional golfers. We are very few. We should set our own rules of golf. Not let the USGA, not let the R&A dictate what the PGA Tour does. We are professional golfers. We should be able to use 26 clubs, whatever we want to use, because we do it for a living. Yeah. The reason the amateurs are set with rules is because the USGA and R&A, they set them, but we should have a little leniency because we do it for a living. I've always believed that. I'm not, to be honest with you, when I see a guy using a belly putter, I go, that guy can't putt anymore. But now they can, and they're winning golf tournaments. So why has it changed? When they first came out with belly putters, nobody was winning with them. Nobody was really doing that great. Bernhard, yes, he won the Masters, but it kind of went away for a while. Not a lot of guys were using it.
So now they're winning.
Now they're winning a lot. Now the USGA says, well, we can't have this. So that's my whole point is it's okay if they're not winning with them, but boy, when they start winning with them.
That's a great, great point.
So, but I really wish our tour would say, you know what, enough's enough. We spent a lot of money on the square grooves, listening to the USGA and the R&A. The ball, it's crazy. I think it's time the PGA Tour sets itself aside with the PGA of America and maybe the European Tour. The European Tour is always going to follow the R&A. But it's time we just decide to say, look, we play for money. There's only 1% of us in this whole world are playing professional golf. There's 60 other million people playing, but they're playing amateur golf.
Exactly.
I understand setting rules for them because there's so many of them. There's not enough of us to worry about it, and we're the ones who sell the clubs. That's the problem. And that's the problem the USGA is having right now. Guy wins with a belly putter, 70,000 people go buy that club, but they're amateurs buying it. It's not, we're the ones who should be dictating what companies. The companies are the ones who's getting killed, having to spend all the money on revamping stuff that the USGA approves, and then they lose all this money when they disapprove it and when they take it away. I mean,
that is an interesting take.
Makes no sense.
John, we're just about out of time, but I like to end all my interviews with something I call 5 for the road. So, quick answer, first thing that comes to mind, 5 quick questions. Favorite professional sports team? And Arkansas football doesn't count as a professional sports team, John.
Cowboys.
Cowboys. Favorite professional athlete? Any athlete?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Favorite music? Artist, genre, whatever you want to.
I can't answer that.
Come on, give me one. How about the kind of music? Country?
It'd be Southern rock.
Southern rock. Favorite movie of all time?
Dead Solid Perfect.
And favorite television series of all time?
Cheers.
Absolute pleasure, John, as always. So entertaining, and best of luck all this week here in Memphis.
Thanks. Appreciate it, brother.
Their names include Lil Sinner, Brooklyn Bones, Midtown Mauler, and Smacky Chan. No, they're not characters in a Quentin Tarantino movie. They are, in fact, alter egos of some of the most competitive athletes you'll find anywhere. These are the ladies of Memphis Roller Derby. They play for the competition, the cardio, and the camaraderie. After forming in Collierville in 2006, Memphis Roller Derby moved its matches to the Pipkin Building in the old fairgrounds area and has been going strong ever since. Recently, I sat down with Captain Emily Ward to learn more about these fearless ladies. So, Emily, why would anybody in their right mind want to do what you guys do?
Why would they not want to do it? It's so much fun, you have no idea.
So competitive. These ladies are from playing previous sports. They want to bring it out here, the camaraderie, the friendships.
Yeah.
But also the danger, right?
I mean, it's dangerous. There's exercise. I mean, it's not as dangerous as people think it is, but I mean, there's danger involved for sure if you don't know what you're doing.
Well, we'll talk about injuries in just a second, but talk about the competitiveness.
So basically, like you said, people come from other sports. They bring that with them, or people who have never had a sports background, they all of a sudden learn what it's like. So you bring it from both sides.
How did Memphis Roller Derby start, and when did it start?
We started here in 2006. 3 girls got together, realized they wanted to have a league. Well, actually, they wanted a team to start with, not just a league. They watched A&E Roller Girls, and that's where they got the original idea. And then they met at a bar and set out some flyers, and 30 girls showed up, and here we are, you know.
A lot of great things start at a bar, don't they?
They really do.
You have 3 teams in the league, but you also have a travel team, and we're watching behind us some of the participants on the travel team practice. You're a part of that as well. Tell us what the difference is when people come to see you guys play. What are they seeing?
Well, basically, the travel team is a higher level of play. It's the All-Stars. It's made up of players, the best players from all of the home teams. And so when they show up, we're usually, travel team is going to play a team from away. So we either bring someone here to play us from another city, or we go play another city.
How popular is it, and do you have a lot of ladies inquiring about being a part of the roller derby?
We really do. It is very popular. I mean, we always need more people, you know, because we're a completely volunteer run. You know, we pay dues to play, and all of our stuff is volunteer, but people really like it.
You just had a wipeout behind us. I'm still trying to figure out how you do, but this league started in Collierville, actually, but it's been in the Pipkin building now for years. So luckily that wasn't knocked down when they structured Tiger Lane.
Exactly. We were afraid we were going to lose the building, but we have it now. So.
You are a team, this travel team, that's competitive in the not only the South but around the country.
Right.
You're one of the higher ranked teams in the Southeast region. I think you're 16th, but in the nation, and we're talking about actually in the world, you're ranked 77th.
We're ranked 77th, and that's in WFDA, Women's Flat Track Derby Association. Has rankable teams, and so out of those rankable, like 135 teams or so, we're 77th.
You've also won several state championships in Tennessee.
Yep. That's part of the Honky Tonk Stomp. All the Tennessee teams play each other, get together, play each other, and we've won a couple of times.
Season begins in January with preseason, and it runs all the way until the end of August, beginning of September, right?
Correct. That's when we have our interleague championships, where the two best home teams play each other, and they battle it out for the winner.
How many bouts do you guys play a year?
Travel team will play probably 7 or 8 bouts a year. Regular home teams probably play 2 or 3. And
folks who want to find out more about Memphis Roller Derby, you have a website,
Yeah,
right?
we have a website. It's www.memphisrollerderby.com. We also have Facebook, you know, Memphis Roller Derby. We have Twitter. And then you can find roller girls everywhere. So, you know, if you see somebody with a sticker on their car, roll your window down, ask them about it. They'll tell you about it.
I mentioned an injury. I don't know if we can get this shot, but where's the scar? See if somebody can get a shot of this scar.
It's kind of covered up, but
and
there
this
it
was,
is.
what, a couple of years ago?
No,
when
this
did
was
happen?
January 2012.
January of 2012. What did you do?
I was in the middle of a game, and I went to turn, and my body went, but my leg didn't. So I fractured my fibula.
Fractured fibulas, broken fibulas, I would imagine knee injuries,
concussions.
Plenty of concussions.
Yeah. You take one hard hit to your helmet, you got to get a new helmet.
But the equipment is so pivotal, and you got the knee pads and you got the elbow pads. So the financial commitment for these ladies is
it's pretty large.
Pretty solid, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's it about? You and I figured about
like
$750 a year with the equipment, with the dues. You have, and there's also insurance as well. Tell everybody about
you know,
why.
Anybody that's got primary insurance, and then we offer, WFDA offers on top of that a catastrophic insurance just in case. But you have to pay, you know, we pay for that as a league member, so.
I love the fact in this sport that you don't go by your name, you go by this crazy nickname.
Alter ego, yeah.
What is yours?
Mine is Midtown Malher.
Where'd you get that from?
Well, we're in Midtown. This is where our venue is. And it's an alliteration. I don't know. You know, well, we've got Broken Bones. She's been playing for a while. I got Little Center. Got Lady Problems. Pop Tart.
Pop Tart? Do the fans who are regulars that come out to watch you guys, do they have a favorite skater, a favorite player that they root for?
Yeah, you can totally tell too, because when the intros are going and they call our names out, some people are like, get a little applause, but like call Little Center's name, everybody goes crazy and you can't hear anything.
So you really turn this Pipkin building into an event center for the actual bout, and it becomes more than just a sport that's taking place. Exactly. It becomes a thing to do.
It's an event.
It's an event.
We have a halftime show. There's usually 2 bouts, and we have vendors and beer and food and everything. So.
How young can you start?
You can start at 18.
Okay. And what's your oldest skater?
Our oldest skater turned 50 2 weeks ago.
Just turned 50 years old and still going strong.
Sure is. She's one of our best jammers.
Are there a lot of young girls out there that look up to you guys and maybe want to follow in your footsteps one day?
I really think they do. We have a junior derby that we're associated with, and it's just so cute when you go to their practices. They're just like, oh my gosh, I saw you skating at the last bout. I want to be just like you. And that's like...
It's the 3 or 4 C's: competitiveness, it's camaraderie, it's competition,
cardio, yeah, lots of exercise,
challenge, the challenge of it all. What do you think the major reason, and you're generalizing here for me, that the ladies come out to skate?
We do this all by ourselves. I mean, obviously we have fans, we have volunteers, but this is a grassroots. We run a business, you know? I'm part of the board. I'm one of the 5 board members. This is a business. We run it, we skate it, we enjoy it.
You're one of the board members, you're a co-captain.
You're the captain of the travel
team.
Yeah.
You're a skater, so you're a player out there. You do it all.
Yeah.
And you did not You weren't involved in any other sports, were you?
Ever.
So this is the first sport you've been involved in.
Yeah, so
You picked a doozy.
it snagged me.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Best of luck with everything, and
very much.
good luck the rest of the season.
All right.
Last week, as you may recall, I went racing with NASCAR legend Rusty Wallace. And this week, Rusty returned to Memphis International Raceway to help with the announcement of a big event coming to MIR October 26th.
We want to bring some racing back to Memphis. So what we're doing, October the 25th and 26th, we're having the short track series, which is called the CRA series. CRA, come back here to Millington. We're going to put a big time race on, twin 125 lap races. That's going to be a whale of a deal.
Rusty is fired up, so are we. Should be quite an event. And another great addition as Memphis tries to reclaim a significant spot on the national racing map. And that'll do it for this week. Remember, you can see any of our previous shows by heading to our website at WKNO.org and clicking on KNO Tonight. Enjoy the golf this week, and we'll talk to you next time.